How's it going, everyone? This is your boy Harley. Welcome back with another video, y'all. And I'm actually going to be speaking upon, for some of y'all that didn't see, I'm just going to be speaking upon my Instagram post that I made not too long ago, which was actually literally like the day before I posted this video. Actually, it's technically 2 days. It's 2 days before this video because I'm actually up early enough so I can head to work at a certain time. So yeah, it's because I had to work at 5 a.m. So let's just say I was up, I'm not tired, and I'm ready to get some bread right after this video is done. But I'm gonna go ahead right into it and speak upon this, what happened. So if some of y'all don't know what happened, just go on my Instagram, look at the video, then after you look at the video, come back here. Alright? So I'll be waiting. I'm gonna take a sip of my water while you'll go ahead and do that. Nope. Okay. You got it? You watched the whole thing? Alright, good. So, what I'm gonna be speaking upon is how to avoid people like the people I pretty much encountered. Whether you're a guy or a woman, or vice versa, of what you might be encountering, it's bound to happen. So it's just, if you're trying to meet, like, let's just say if you're a guy, you're trying to get a hookup, trying to go out, meet someone, and you're with people like the ones that I've encountered, I would just advise you stay away from those people. And so one thing I can tell you is that when you're going out and meet people, there's a way you gotta go out and meet people and how you gotta build with them too. Like, for example, I'm 26. I'm gonna be 27 in 2 months. So I mean, I can tell you that when I've started having a consistent nightlife for the past 3 years, where I was always going out every weekend, I've kept myself affiliated with the people who I know, the clubs I've been going to, the bars I've been going to. What I can tell you is it draws a fine line with how you should keep yourself, or how you should present yourself when it comes to these people. Like, this woman was literally with a group of 2 other girls and consistently, like, so just to give you a backstory, or just to give you an idea how she worked, she literally, and also I'm not mentioning any names for privacy, but just the fact that she's with 2 friends consistently, and they're always like, let's just say, and they're always like looking. I feel like they just look for trouble. Like, they play the entrapment role. They don't play that entrapment role very well, especially if it's with me. But what I can tell you is that when it comes to presentation, for the fact that you're consistently going out with the same group of girls, and she always would make the excuse stating that, oh, I'm drunk and tired. And then when I do try to reach out to you, your excuse is, oh, well, I'm always in study groups, I'm in so many group texts. And it's just like, well, okay. If you're in a bunch of group texts, what made you go out tonight with the same group of friends? Did they text you and you responded yes? All right, let's go out. But the person that you were speaking to, you're not texting me. So it's just, what I can tell you when it comes to people like that, if people are going to ask you, let's go ahead and hang, you go ahead and text them. They don't respond back. But then they see you going out on your own free will. They want to make you feel guilty. Those are the type of people that want to make you feel guilty on, like, oh, you're effed up for going out and meeting people, knowing that you should have been with me. I'm like, okay, well, I did text you. You didn't respond back. Don't use school as your excuse as to why you can't be with me. But let alone when I go out and do my own thing, if you were to meet up with another guy, I wouldn't care, because we're not exclusive. So, and again, for some of you that don't know this, that, like, if people don't know what I'm talking about, go to my Instagram video. You'll know the full story. I'm just speaking ahead of what to expect moving forward. So my advice to you for when you all are going out is to know what to expect from some people. You know, there's people that are gonna text back. There's people that aren't gonna text back. There's people that are gonna enjoy the one night with you when you first initially meet, and then they're just gonna ignore you. Then there's gonna be the people that sense a good vibe, a good energy, and they want to continuously talk to you. Like if people are continuously texting you, talking to you, trying to have a good night, then you know what? Those are the people to mess with. Those are the people to vibe with too. I've had my encounters when, I've didn't have the best encounters on my night too, to where it could have been dangerous. It went very well. It was safe, but it's just me personally. I'm not a fan because I'm not the most sensitive guy in the world. But it's just like, and I wasn't sensitive in this case. But let's say if it was a girl I was talking to for the past 5 6 months, to where we were texting, we were hanging out, but then all of a sudden, if we're not, if she didn't text me that way, and she did what she saw me did, then that's a different story. Or if I did what she did what she accused me of, then she would have a right. But we've only met 3 days after I went on my own free will, met up with another girl, and then you get mad at me. It's it's kind of, and just the fact alone, like later on, her two friends, it was just no, her friends were using other people for money. Like they wanted free food, they wanted free money. Like that's really what it is. Like they are some gold digging ass bitches. That's I'm just gonna say that straight up to her friends. So I mean, um, let's just go ahead and say that when I encountered them in the bar and club, I just literally flicked them off. I'm not afraid to do that. And just the fact that they keep going to security guards and cops, because in their mind, they use this as a way, as a tactic to make themselves feel like they're right. They're women, okay? It's not saying women are always want to play that innocent game. It's not. It's just they want to use the theory like, well, if I'm a woman and I complain about a guy, I know nine out of 10 times I'm always gonna get bailed out by a cop or a security guard. It doesn't work like that. So I mean, when I encountered that, it was I'm just like for this. So first time she tried to call a security guard with me, I'm like literally like 10 feet away from them, probably. I mean, if yeah, like 10 feet away from them. They telling a security guard you could just go back out in the back, and then you just go ahead into the front. And I'm trying to explain to the security guard, like, look, I shouldn't be the one being told to leave when I'm out of their vicinity. I didn't push them. I didn't lay a hand on them. If that was the case being, then everyone in this bar and club would have been kicked out. So, I mean, the security guard was getting in his feelings because, he wanted to do what a woman told him to. And as I'm explaining to them, they're both pushing me. I'm like, security guard, you see this? And you're falling for their jokes and their game. They said, just go out into the front. I go ahead and do that. See them. I'm like, haha, joke's on you. I'm not putting it in the camera view because you know what I did. That's kind of like what I did. Go to another club, came back out, miraculously saw them. I see the girl that I was mainly talking to with the two other girls that they were hanging with. And they were like, oh, no touch him. He flicked us off. I'm like, and I said this in my Instagram video too. Spoiler, if you guys didn't see it. But I'm just, like in the back of my mind, I'm like, so what if a person flicked me off? Like if a woman, here's my issue. Here's my thing. This is just me, but I handle things a lot differently from other people. Does it make it right in everyone else's eyes? It doesn't, but it doesn't make it always wrong. I mean, if someone flicked me off, being that if I was with a girl, but I wouldn't handle the situation how they handled it, you know, I mean, I wouldn't, I wouldn't be sensitive and say, well, your friends flicked me off. I would just tell you, hey, look, I mean, friends flicked me off. I really don't give a shit. But so like, what are they trying to do? I tell them like, look, like I don't like it when I'm consistently being told that you were about to leave, you didn't leave. I go ahead and try to hang out with her. You're trying to deflect me away from her. I go ahead and try to make a night to be with her, and y'all take her away. And they're like, well, I've spoken to her longer. I accidentally said, well, I've been speaking to her longer in the time period of when we met. Like I didn't say that very well. I told her, I'm like, I said I meant I haven't been speaking to her very long, but that doesn't mean that you should just go ahead and deflect me away when you two were the one that introduced me to her randomly when I was trying to have a fun night like how y'all were trying to have a fun night. So I mean, granted, if y'all go ahead and portray yourself the way y'all want to be and y'all think you're all right for doing this, then go ahead. But just know that you're doing this for publicity at this point then too. So the more I talk, I get dehydrated. So I mean, it comes down to when I was walking away, and I was just and then one of them told me to come over. She was like, "So what you trying to do?" I'm like, "I'm not trying to do anything. Like I just want to talk with her. I actually just want to have a day with her. But it just so happens that she's not gonna give me that attention because you two are taking her away from me." She's like, "Okay, so what you trying to do about it?" I'm like, I ain't trying to do anything. If you want to go ahead and do something, go ahead and do that. If you want to go ahead and hit me, go ahead and do that. You're free to do that. But just know that if you do lay hands on me, I will get cops involved. She's like, oh, well, you're only mentioning cops because they're here. I'm like, even if the cops weren't here, you're still assaulting me. It's still legal. There's 911 for a reason, dummy. She stopped that and then called the cop over. I was just like, cop told me their situation, and it's just like, they're saying I'm harassing them. I told cop, listen, they tried to do the same thing with the security, and I was 10 feet away from them. Now, you can ask the security what happened, and he told me that I can go right outside the back entrance and then come right back into the front entrance. So, I mean, that shows you that wasn't calling a scene. It just, he didn't want anything happen within his vicinity. And then she was like, well, it's best if you just walk away. I was like, but I want her to tell me that. Like, if she knows that she doesn't want me being around her, like, so she's consistently drunk. Before I resume that part, she's consistently drunk and tired, as she claims, but two of her friends are literally talking in their ears, and both of them are talking in her ears, trying to make me look bad, making me look like the enemy. Go ahead and tell me, and she's like, Harley, you should go ahead and leave. So they were just, I was talking to the cop, and then they kept interrupting. All three were interrupting. I just want, I was actually having a peaceful conversation. Which I told him I want her to tell me that, but the cop was like, "Well, I'm telling you that." I'm like, "Okay, I understand that, and I'm gonna respect whatever you go ahead and say." And then all of a sudden, they go ahead and out of nowhere, like literally like out of nowhere, they said like, "Well, I'm not gonna mention." I messed with ugly, well, opposing. She said it her own way, but like, I don't know what type of viewership I have here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say ugly bitches. That's what she said. And you know what I said? I went on and said like oh really, right? Well, the way how you're displaying yourself right now is making you look like an ugly one. And then she got so mad. I told cops, I'm like, thank you for your service. Told the other cop, thank you for your service. I'm just gonna go ahead and walk away. Go ahead and walk away. I'm in the corner. It's like literally, I think about like 3 something at night, I believe. Like 3:05 in the morning. I'm about to go ahead and request an Uber home. It was just, you know what, there's nothing else for me to do. I've already had my night, done my part of having fun. I'm gonna go ahead, request an Uber. Girl comes up to me, starts running because she got so mad. Her friends were holding her back, and the cop was pretty much holding her back too. I walked away. So obviously, people would know like who was in the right, who was in the wrong. She was like, "Why the would you call me ugly?" She got so mad. She got mad as to why I called her ugly. I was just like, I mean, first of all, you're looking ugly, and second of all, you're displaying yourself like an ugly bitch. Therefore, you're like that's what I literally told her. Therefore, like I'm not putting up with this. You don't text me. You don't get in contact with me. You even when you are always mentioning that you're in school. Guess what your excuse is? Like you stick with the school excuse, And then guess what you're doing? You hide behind your friends who happen to reach out to you when they want to go out. Because therefore, even if you know them longer, if it came down to you not seeing your phone when it comes to texting people, that doesn't make your situation right, saying that you should say, well, I'm not going to text this guy, but if I see him, I'm going to make him look bad. No. I didn't say exactly like that, but I said something very similar to that, too. And I was like, I told him, like, y'all two are manipulative bitches. That's what I told him. I literally called them manipulative bitches. Like, it shouldn't come down to the point where I like that. And the thing was, like, I didn't have to buy them pizza like a couple days ago or 3 days ago, like prior to that night. I didn't have to buy them pizza, but I did it because the pizza was cheap. I was trying to do it to be a nice guy, and I didn't have to. So people were like, well, so you see, Harlow's being a nice guy, but those girls, they want to be cockblockers. I know I've been cursing a lot in this video, but that's just how it is. Moral of the story is this, is that be careful who you go out and meet. Now, if you're trying to seek a relationship going out downtown, like, there's a way you gotta do it to where friends aren't consistently speaking up for other people, whether it's a guy or woman, anyone. Because it came down to two women speaking up for one woman, like, obviously, for the most part, something would have happened down the line to where I could have been targeted by her friends if I ever did something wrong. And then they would probably, like, start, like, a violent threat. I wouldn't know what it is, but those are the type of people that you always watch out for, because you saw how they try to entrap me to get me to do stuff, and they couldn't do that, right? Because if that was the case being, I wouldn't be making this video right now. So, I mean, you just gotta know who you surround yourself with, for the most part. In terms of trying to, in terms of when you do go out and meet that one woman or guy, like, sometimes I like going out by myself because it increases more of my chances. I mean, it's not saying a guy's gonna take away the girl I'm gonna like. It's just I personally would prefer going out by myself. Unless if I go to, like, Wynwood, then I have to go with people. It's further out my radius, but because I live under a mile away from where I go out to, I don't need to go out with people. If people want to go out with me, I'll do that. I don't have a problem with it, but just know stuff like that would happen. At least I would have boys behind my back to where if that ever did happen again, they would bail me out. They would get me out of that situation. But to make it a long story short, like, when it's all said and done, when you go out and meet these people, just know, like, if they're not going to respond to you the way they're supposed to, and they're always going to make an excuse in the book, and then they try to make you look like bad guy, saying you should be committed to this girl when you just met, those are the people stay away from. Their toxicity level is very high. Their manipulation is very high. They try to gain attention for their own benefit, to make other people look bad, and to make people realize, like they should have a lot to give for them. Just be careful who you surround yourself with, and be careful when it comes to certain women or men that you're not subjected to that, and these are people to stay away from. The people I was around with, stay away from that. Those are people that can get you into some deep fire down the line too. It will be like that. It will be. So I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm gonna see y'all later. This video was just basically speaking upon when you go out, know what to expect. Just please, don't give people like that attention. Walk away. Don't give them any peace of mind. You don't need their validation. When they see you out with another girl, and they want to think the way they want to think, let them be that way. I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm gonna see y'all later. Holler at me later. Yeah.